At the southernmost tip of the Adriatic, you'll find one of Europe's most spectacular coastlines, Montenegro, with a wide variety of landscapes and castles that tell us about the grandeur of this land. Its impressive coastline is dotted with lively seaside resorts, a succession of ancient coastal towns where some of the most beautiful mountains on the continent rise, a land of medieval cities contrasting with snow-capped peaks, crystal-clear lakes, and rivers bordered by deep forests. Let's explore together and discover some of the most interesting and extraordinary facts about Montenegro. Number 1. Geographic data of Montenegro. Montenegro is located on the Balkan Peninsula, along the eastern coast of the Adriatic Sea. It shares its northern border with Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina, the eastern border with Serbia and Kosovo, the southern border with Albania, and the western border with Croatia and the Adriatic Sea. Montenegro has a coastline of 293 kilometers along the Adriatic Sea and covers an area of 13,812 square kilometers, making it the 8th smallest country in Europe. With a population of over 600,000 inhabitants, the territorial distribution is 70% urban and 30% rural. In terms of administrative divisions, Montenegro is divided into 24 municipalities, with the majority of its population concentrated on the coast, where its main cities are located. The capital and the most populous city are situated in the central southern part of the country. The second largest city in the country is located to the west of Montenegro, and Cetinje is the cultural and historical capital, located in the southwest of the country. Number 2. Regions and landscapes of Montenegro. Montenegro's geography is characterized by its diversity, mainly due to being a mountainous nation. Most of its territory is above 1,000 meters above sea level, and 60% of it is mountainous. The country's topography consists of 4 main zones. First, the coast, which stretches for 293 kilometers and encompasses a series of beaches, bays, and coastal villages. This region features a deciduous forest of Illyria, a type of Mediterranean forest, as well as over 100 beaches, with Velika Beach being the longest, stretching over 13 kilometers, considered the longest in the country. Second, the rocky plains found in the country's interior, composed of limestone rocks where vegetation and fauna are sparse due to the rocky and porous soil. Third, a depression that lies between the rocky plains and the high mountains. These lowlands are ideal for human settlement and have the highest population concentration in Montenegro. Finally, the high mountains occupy most of the country's territory and are formed by the Dinaric Alps. Montenegro's high mountains are an important tourist destination, offering a wide variety of landscapes, from glacial peaks to mountain forests. The country's highest peak is Bobotov Kuk, with an altitude of 2,534 meters, located near the country's border with Bosnia and Herzegovina. In the same mountainous areas, you'll find the Tara Canyon, a natural wonder and one of the deepest river canyons in Europe. Montenegro has a temperate climate with mild winters and hot summers, and precipitation is abundant, especially in the mountainous areas. Number 3. Podgorica. Podgorica is the capital and the most populous city of Montenegro, located at the confluence of the Ribnica and Moraca rivers, near Lake Scatter and the Adriatic Sea, in the fertile Zeta Plain, making it an important hub in the region's trade routes. The city has been inhabited since before the Christian era and was significant during the Roman era when it was called Dokli. Currently, the ruins of this ancient city and the Roman capital of the province of Preva Latina are about 3 kilometers from modern Podgorica. During the Middle Ages, the city was re-established under the name Ribnica and later, in the 14th century, became known as Podgorica. It became an important center of trade and communication between the Kingdom of Serbia and the Republic of Ragusa, now known as Dubrovnik. Between 1946 and 1992, the city served as the capital of the former Yugoslavia, known as Titograd. Today, it is the economic center of Montenegro and houses a variety of businesses, including industrial, commercial, and service companies. Podgorica offers several tourist attractions, including the city's administrative building, a symbol of the city's reconstruction between the 2 world wars. The old neighborhood of Stara Veros is the historic center of Podgorica, featuring the Ottoman Osmangazi Mosque and the Millennium Bridge, a reinforced concrete pedestrian bridge that spans the Moraca River. The Cathedral of the Resurrection of Christ completes the city's rich historical and cultural heritage. It includes 17 bells in its tower, one of which weighs 11 tons, making it the largest in the Balkans. Number 4. The Heart of Montenegro. This tour will take you through some of the most beautiful and culturally rich areas of Montenegro, providing an opportunity to experience the history, nature, and beauty of this country. Our journey begins in the town of Cetinje, the former capital of Montenegro, home to the residence of the ancient Montenegrin monarchs and the current president of the country. Very close to the town of Cetinje is the Rijeka Canyon, an impressive canyon carved by the river of the same name, where you can enjoy stunning panoramic views and explore the natural beauty of the area. In the same region lies Lake Scatter, the largest lake in the Balkans. A boat trip on the lake is a must-try experience, as it not only offers breathtaking scenery but also brings you into contact with one of Europe's largest bird reserves, home to Dalmatian pelicans and 500 species of flamingos. On the shores of Lake Scatter is the town of Vrpazar, home to the Bisak Fortress, from where you'll have one of the most stunning panoramic views of this beautiful country. If you enjoy visiting historical sites and fortresses, just a few kilometers away is the Kosmach Fortress, offering some of the most beautiful views in the country, overlooking the Bay of Budva. A few kilometers from here, in the Lovćen Mountain, a national symbol of Montenegro and the headquarters of Lovćen National Park, is a perfect place for hiking. At the top of Lovćen, you can visit the mausoleum of King Peter II, the world's highest mausoleum, from where you can also enjoy spectacular views. Finally, you can return to the town of Cetinje via the famous 25 Curves Road, which takes you through a steep gorge with spectacular views of the Dinaric Alps. Music. Number 5. Why is it called Montenegro? Historical data. The history of Montenegro is marked by the influence of many peoples who passed through its lands. From the Romans, who called it Dokli, to becoming an independent kingdom in 1077, later falling under Ottoman rule in 1496 and regaining independence in 1645 to become a religious state led by a bishop, then becoming a kingdom again in 1910 after long struggles against the Ottomans to preserve its independence. One of the best places to witness these constant changes in Montenegrin history is possibly the town of Stari Bar, a historic site and an important tourist destination. Founded by the Byzantines in the 11th century, it was conquered by the Venetians in the 12th century, later by the Ottomans in the 18th century, and liberated by the Kingdom of Montenegro in the 19th century. In the 20th century, Montenegro went through a dark period of its history, losing its independence again after World War I when it was annexed to Serbia in 1918. After World War II, Montenegro was one of the 6 republics that formed the former Yugoslavia. Following the dissolution of Yugoslavia, Montenegro remained united with the Serbian state and regained its independence in 2006. If you wonder why this beautiful country is called Montenegro, its name originated in the Middle Ages. The name Chernogora or Montenegro is first mentioned in the 13th century and is believed to refer to the darkness caused by the dense forests covering the Dinaric Alps. Number 6. The Bay of Kotor, the grandest of blue coves. The Bay of Kotor, a natural and cultural treasure. Deep in the Adriatic, the Bay of Kotor, also known as the Bay of Kotor, or simply, the Bay, is often considered one of the most beautiful in the world and one of the most incredible natural settings in Europe. It is characterized by steep mountains plunging into the sea, creating a dramatic and picturesque landscape. The Bay of Kotor is called the southernmost fjord in Europe, and is famous for its spectacular scenery and its cultural heritage, including the ancient town of Kotor, declared a World Heritage Site. Along its 15 nautical miles, 28 kilometers, you'll find beautiful landscapes with rugged peaks and slopes covered in lush vegetation. Charming towns of the Bay of Kotor. In the Bay of Kotor region, you'll find the picturesque town of Perast, known for its islands, including Our Lady of the Rocks Island, as well as beautiful palaces and ancient churches. Near Perast is Tivat, famous for Porto Montenegro, the country's largest marina, and the northernmost coastal town of Montenegro, Herceg-Novi, often called the City of Flowers, due to its Mediterranean environment and diverse flora. The fascinating walled city of Kotor. Kotor, a medieval town surrounded by a wall, is situated at the end of a long, narrow bay, in the shadow of Mount Lovgen. It was one of the busiest ports in Europe in its time and has a history dating back to Roman times. Kotor's historic center, also declared a World Heritage Site, is surrounded by a 15th-century Venetian wall, with narrow streets, historic buildings, and charming squares. Romanesque and medieval churches, such as the Cathedral of St. Tryphon, Byzantine towers, and medieval fortifications, make Kotor's historic center naturally charming. Kotor's defensive walls and St. John's Fort. Kotor is surrounded by impressive defensive walls that extend over the surrounding hills, providing panoramic views of the city and the bay. St. John's Fort, a 14th-century Venetian fortress atop the hill, is the most famous part of the walls and offers legendary views. Religion in Montenegro. Montenegro has religious diversity due to its history and ethnic composition. There are Muslim communities, mainly in the border region with Serbia, and Catholic communities, mainly in the coastal region of the Bay of Kotor. The predominant religion in Montenegro is Eastern Orthodox Christianity, with various historic monasteries playing a significant role in the country's religious and cultural heritage. Some of these monasteries include Ostrog Monastery, Cetinje Monastery, and Moraca Monastery. The Montenegrin Riviera. Montenegro's coastline, known as the Montenegrin Riviera, is a natural gem with sandy and pebble beaches, bays, and historic coastal towns. Budva is the most famous city on the Riviera, known for its beaches, Venetian Old Town, and Budva Citadel. The island of Sveti Stefan, connected to the land by a narrow isthmus, is a luxury destination. The southern coast of Montenegro is dominated by the city of Bar, the country's main port. Life in Montenegro. The lifestyle in Montenegro is calm and relaxed. Montenegrins are known for their kindness and hospitality. The country's population is one of the tallest in the world, with an average height of about 6 feet, 1.83 meters, for men. Life in Montenegro is closely connected to nature, making it an ideal place to escape the stresses of modern life. Outdoor activities like hiking and water sports are popular due to the country's natural beauty. The economy of Montenegro. Montenegro's economy is based on tourism, industry, and agriculture. Tourism is the most important sector, accounting for about 30% of the GDP. Agriculture is diversified, with the production of olive oil, citrus fruits, vegetables, meat, and wine. The industry includes the production of aluminum, steel, electricity, and food products. The country has invested in modernizing the energy sector, including renewable energy sources.